Hello and welcome to Power Talk here on YouTube. Wundert euch nicht, heute spreche ich Englisch. And the reason for that is because we have a very
Weil mein
special
Deutsch
guest.
so scheiße ist.
Because yeah, you hear him already, and because no, I think your German is very good. It's very good, I think. But today it's better to make it in English.
Ja, sehr gut.
And,
Ja, im Vergleich zu Mark Terenzi ist es gut. Aber,
in,
ja.
it's
Das
the
hat-
Regels sind die Regeln. And yeah, we give it a try. So welcome. He don't need any a lot of words to introduce him. You know him as the bassist of one of Germany's all-time favorite rock bands. Over 6 million sold albums. He is now one of Germany's most known heels in wrestling. And welcome, Evil Jared.
Oh, really? I'm one of the most known heels? Oh,
Oh yes. And this is the first question I would start to. First of all, congrats to the amazing success and debut of the TV Total Promi wrestling event.
Dankeschön.
You brought wrestling back to the mainstream in German television. It was a very important thing for the wrestling community and fans to make that.
Well, correct
And,
me if I'm wrong, but I mean, is this not the
yes.
first time wrestling has made it to prime time in German TV? I mean, maybe back in the 80s it was on in prime time. I don't know.
It was in the early 90s we had it in the late after it was early afternoon, like it was 4 p.m. But short time after that, 2-3 weeks later, concerned parents wrote some letters and they
As far as I know,
canceled
some
wrestling.
jackass that's in charge of your television in some opt or something or some ordinance opt
Yeah.
decided that wrestling could only be after 10 p.m.
That's it, and that's the reason because only over 20 years later we then brought it back with TV Total, and and you were the biggest heel on the show, of course. You had a long.
I don't know.
a long
Castelli seemed like kind of an asshole too.
Yeah, but that's important in wrestling. I think it was perfect. And what are your thoughts about it? Looking now back on that project.
At the show?
Yes,
Oh
the whole
I
Promi wrestling.
I think that went about as well as it could. I was so happy that it finally came together. Like I had, like I've seen the Promi boxing, you know,
Yeah.
and like I did Promi boxing maybe like 12, 13 years ago, and back then, like you had guys in that, like me and Daniel Ami, that, tried to take it seriously, and like tried to show some respect for the sport. And I've watched it recently where, they have the fame fighting, which no offense to it, just it looks like the guys have not trained to box at all. It's just a couple of reality show stars that got in a ring, put some gloves on, and said, "Oh, we can make some money. We'll just throw a couple punches at each other." And I've seen better fights in playgrounds at elementary schools. And I had this idea that we should do a celebrity boxing, but I didn't want it to be like it would have no respect for the sport. So we tried to find people that would display a certain respect for the sport, and I think we found that in the celebrities. I think certainly all of the wrestling professionals that we had there did a great job, and I have to give a major props to Ahmed and Mike Chair,
Yeah.
and also to Ulf Nadrowski for really bringing it all together and making it so it seemed like it wasn't making a mockery of wrestling. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely. It was great. It was the show had parts of backstage footage. You really had absolute story for every match. It was better than a lot of pro wrestling that we get in television from the big companies in kind of storytelling, the tempo of the matches, the speed of the matches. It was amazing, and there were. You don't recognize a lot. That's what you meant. That there are non wrestlers involved in it. So they did a very tremendous job. Your tag team partner, Harting, the police officer with a mustache.
Yes, great.
You had a
I've
great
never
partner
seen
in him.
mustache before, but I
Yeah,
think he
yeah.
can use that back.
Yeah, looks amazing. Yeah, you have to bring it back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And do you know after you received an absolutely unfair guitar shot? Do you
Yeah.
know if there are
First of
any
all, I was
plans?
supposed to fight Puff Puff. All right, that
Yes,
asshole. Like the only time he got in the ring was to sneak up behind me and hit me with a guitar.
yes. The Empire have to strike back. Is there
Yeah.
any plans for part two?
Oh yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you know something?
Oh
You
yeah.
think so?
This ain't over, Puff Puff.
Yes.
Right, this is
Perfect.
just
Perfect.
beginning.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
You
very
have to. You
frequent.
have to. Yeah, perfect. And you, of course, you have a background in wrestling. In Germany, it's since 2017 where you started
I don't
in
recall
wrestling.
what year it was, but I
Yeah.
know like I had been a cast member on with Yoko in class,
Yeah.
and Klaus had this
Ah,
idea
yeah.
that he wanted to do a celebrity wrestling show, not a full show, but like just a segment on one of those
Yeah, yeah,
Yoko and
yeah, yeah.
class shows. And I had known Herman for probably
Ulf,
15
yes,
years.
yes.
Yeah, 'cause he was. I think he was the tour manager or the security chief or something for Ramstein when we were doing festivals with him. So
Okay.
I'd known him for a long time, and he had this idea, or Klaus had this idea that we were going to do a celebrity wrestling segment. So it ended up being me and Yoko against Herman and Torsten Legat. And I wanted to make it as good as possible, so I started training with the German Wrestling Federation, which is located, in the same part of the Berlin ghetto that I live in. So I started going over there and training with those guys, and that show ended up being so much fucking fun that I don't know. I think I became addicted because I was like, oh my
Okay.
god, I want to do this all the time. So I kept going to German Wrestling Federation training even after that show was done, and then because I was going to the training, they're like, you want to do some matches, and I'm like, I'm by far the oldest guy in the league, but yeah, fuck it, I got to do this. It's totally on my bucket list. So I started doing
Okay.
matches with the GWF, and then I kind of became a regular on their roster.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I saw it. I take a look on your matches.
Yeah,
You have your own cage match page. It's like the Wikipedia for wrestling,
really.
and so you are absolutely a wrestler. You are on the cage match page
Oh,
where
I had
all
no
the
idea.
stars are listed. Every match, every opponent from you is listed here. That's where I got my information from. So your debut match, official, please correct me if I'm wrong, was in 2017 with Amateur, perfect partner for the first match.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, yeah.
GWF Election Day. GWF Election Day, which you
But
won, of course.
that was
So,
me and Ahmed against
yeah.
Rainbow and Johannes Lucas, I
Yes.
think.
Yes, perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes, perfect. Yes.
yeah.
So that was your. Yeah.
I don't remember if that was before or after the Yoko and Klaas show. Might have been
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, the Yogon class match doesn't count as a real wrestling match, but of course the TV Total Promi Wrestling is officially, because it was a wrestling show. It's listed here, and you have
So Yoko and Klaas
14
doesn't count.
matches. It
Oh,
doesn't count for cage match, but
oh.
maybe if you want, we from Power Wrestling start a petition to get you a 15th match.
That sounds like your time would be better spent in other
Yeah, yeah, okay,
other
okay.
pursuits. But yeah,
Yeah, because maybe they want to see it. So you have 14 matches right now. Seven
okay.
of those 14 only were in 2024. So you really become a part of GWF and of wrestling on a regular basis. You were part of the one of Germany's biggest stables, the Blutsbrüder.
Yeah.
You were in the Power Wrestling on a poster, fan voted, so very famous in Germany. Here next to the Great Bad Bones.
Yeah, I mean,
And
one of my biggest regrets about the Promi wrestling was
yeah,
that John didn't get to do it. I think he
yeah.
would have loved that. I mean, he would have been perfect for the show.
I also thought that when Erkan is in the ring, you automatically think about Bad Bones even a bit more. And that were also my thoughts when we watched that.
Yeah, and how
Bad
weird is it that
Bones
Erkan and
loved
I
it.
were in the same show, but we
Yeah.
weren't both there as Blutsbrüder?
As yeah,
Only he was representing Blutsbrüder.
he were Blutsbrüder, yeah, but
Him
yeah,
and Meister were Blutsbrüder, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
out on doing my own thing.
You grow out of it. You have to see it like this. You grew out of it. You
I
became
hope not, because I'm planning on
Hollywood Jared, the ultimate evil.
As soon as I'm back in Germany, I'm back with my brothers.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds great. So, are there plans for 2025? For now, wrestling sites?
Yeah, I mean,
Any?
as soon as I get back there, I'll be back in March or whatever. So I'll start doing GWF shows again.
Okay. So you are you training wrestling on a regular basis? Is this one of
I
your?
am when I'm in Germany, but like I live so far out in the woods in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, there's really nowhere to train here. The
Yeah.
only
Okay.
wrestler that I run into on a semi-regular basis is Snitsky, but I don't know where he trains.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like
He lives
he lives
in the
up
same
near,
area, Chinsnitsky. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen him in years.
Yeah. Okay. To you, when you grew up, was wrestling a big part of your childhood? Was it? Were you a wrestling fan from
Yeah, yeah. I
begin?
mean, wrestling in America was like I grew up right in the middle of the golden age.
Yeah.
So, like I could probably, man, I don't get a chance to watch wrestling all the time now, but I could probably have told you every member of the WWF roster in 1988.
Okay.
And like back then, you didn't have it. Like I didn't have any. I grew up like kind of dirt poor, so we didn't have any of the premium channels. So we only knew it from like the stuff that came on free in syndication on the weekends. So like Superstars of Wrestling, or like, I think it was WWF Superstars and Primetime Wrestling. The shows where you used to have like Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon as the hosts, or Vince McMahon and Jesse the Body. And I remember
Okay.
also like Lord Alfred Hayes, Sean Moody, like
Okay.
Jackass.
Yeah.
So those are the
Legends.
shows I grew up
Legends.
watching.
Yeah. And who were your heroes back then?
Oh well, my
Like.
favorites were Piper, obviously,
Okay.
George Animal Steel, Rick Rude. I always loved the heels.
The heels, yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, perfect match.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have, and thinking today, who are your, when you think today, who are your favorite wrestlers, like of all time, or special place
Yeah, I'll tell
in
you
your
what, I'm a
wrestling
bigger
heart? Or?
fan now of like the German indie wrestlers than I are of any of the
Yeah,
WWE roster. Although
yeah,
I have learned to respect Cesaro or Claudio.
yeah. Okay. But when I would ask you who is your favorite wrestler of all time from 80s to
Oh,
today,
Piper.
which Pipe? Okay,
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. The
okay,
guy was
yeah,
great.
perfect.
I mean, what a
Yeah,
great heel.
absolutely.
I mean, there's no heels anywhere near that these days.
Yeah, it's yeah. You're right.
I mean,
You're
who's the
right.
biggest heel these days? Like Dominic Mysterio? Guy's a weasel.
That's yeah, yeah. You have a point with that. Absolutely. And do you have there are famous wrestlers from the Philly area in the history, like the Laurinaitis brothers, Animal from the Road Warriors,
Yep.
or Nick Gage from the GCW from today's hardcore
Yep.
wrestling promotion, Stevie Richards or the Blue Meanie. Do you have any relations to them, or like Snitsky, like you said?
No, listen, Snitsky's the only one I used to see on a semi-regular basis. And I forget if it was Sags or Knobs, but one of the Nasty Boys had an
Yeah.
apartment above my buddy's tattoo studio. So
Okay.
I never talked to him, but you would see him walking around every once in a while.
Yeah. Okay. Ah, okay. And so, do you also attend or go to live events of wrestling? Do you any
Well,
special
obviously,
memories?
I'll go to every GWF event. When the WWE is in Berlin, I'll go there. So I was at Bash in Berlin this
Okay.
year, and like if it's in Pennsylvania, I haven't been to any WWE shows, but I will go to the indie shows at the flea market.
Ah. Okay. Um, so you don't watch WWE today on a regular basis because of
No, not like when I was a kid. When I
yeah.
when I was a show.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And do you also collected any kind of stuff? Like, do you had action figures or trading
I had a
cards,
couple.
video
I had a couple of
games or
Piper.
something?
I
Or
had a couple of Piper action figures, and I've got the WWE Superstars of Wrestling game
yeah,
from the '80s,
yes,
like the arcade game they had. Yeah, I've got one
yeah.
of those.
Ah, you have one
It was
at
in my
home.
basement,
Okay.
and a Matt Mania.
That's what I heard in another podcast you said, and though
Yes.
do you see it? Yes, that's the because a lot of people in Germany don't we have no kind of we don't know Met Mania, so we didn't have that in Germany.
That
Yeah.
was the first game in the 80s that I could play like an unlimited amount of time on a quarter. Like once you figured out how to beat the hardest wrestlers in it, and Golden Hulk was by far not the toughest wrestler. The toughest wrestler was Coco Savage, and then Insane Warrior, who was the worst wrestler in the first few matches, it becomes one of the hardest ones later on.
Okay. Here, Insane Warrior.
Yep.
This is Insane Warrior.
Yeah, like you start
Here
fighting
is.
him, and then Coco Savage is almost unbeatable unless you get him right off the bat. Like you got to jump on him immediately and beat on him for like 2 minutes, and then you can finally defeat him. But if you make one mistake with Coco Savage, you're fucked.
Okay, so if you had any problems till today to beat him, now you have the inside tips from Evil
Yeah.
Jared.
Evil Jared will walk
to
you
get Coco Savage. It's amazing. I have to look. I think the internet is wild and wide. Maybe we find it there. Never saw it before.
Well, I mean, there's got to be memes to do it now, but I'm guessing that video game culture, like arcade culture, was not as big in Germany as it was in America. Because in
Yeah.
America in the 80s, they were everywhere.
Okay. Yeah.
Like you couldn't see a dead
I
cat over here without hitting an arcade.
Yeah, I really don't remember arcade halls, huge arcade halls in Germany when I was a child. Only in vacation when we are on some campgrounds there were some, but
Oh yeah,
yeah,
every single shopping mall here had one, and we had a lot of like
yeah,
standalone ones. And like in the mid '80s, like they put them everywhere, and they were
okay,
just popping up all over the place. Every Dairy Queen had a couple games in it. Every 7-Eleven, every convenience store you could think of, everywhere they would slip in some video games.
great time for
Oh
the
yeah, I mean
so
obviously
yeah,
they couldn't compete with the the quality or the resolution of the PS5, but
yeah.
time, like I had just as much fun playing those as I ever have with the PS5 game.
Arcade is something special when you have to put a coin inside and the people waiting to get their time slot and you are yeah kind of
Yeah, there was
pressure
just
to
something
make it to
magical about it. Kids today will never understand it.
that's it,
Those
that's
little
it really.
bastards.
Yeah. They only knew it a bit when they come to the media markt and all that stuff, and there's a PlayStation to try to play on it. Maybe that's a bit of, but yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, you
they
can't
will
even
never
talk to them
understand.
about it
Yeah.
because I mentioned it to my kid. And she's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, great story, boomer." I'm like, "All right, well, I'll shut the fuck up then."
Okay, so one question I have to ask, of course,
Yeah,
um, as a really true fan, I have to ask it. Last year we had the 25th anniversary of Hooray for Boobies.
we sure did.
After your loss to the Sebastian Poof Puff,
Well,
plans
it
of
wasn't really a
comeback.
loss. First of all, it
It
wasn't really
was.
a loss to Sebastian Puffpaff, was it? No, because he
You're
faked
right. You're
some
right.
kind of
You're
injury
right.
and then
So
was replaced
yeah.
by Claudio. So I don't consider that an actual
So
loss.
absolutely correct. You can. So that's why I hope for a part two. But the plans for a comeback fell short. But are there any chances? Can you say something about? Is there a possibility for a Bloodhound
Well,
gang
the plans I had
comeback?
for this year, obviously, those are kind of in the shitter. But I'm in Pennsylvania right now, and I can tell you that the singer, the DJ, and the old drummer are here, and I have plans to meet up with them in the next 2 weeks.
Okay,
So
that sounds
we'll
amazing. Yeah.
see what
If
if we
they
go out, get a couple beers, get tanked up, and don't end up going completely Jane's Addiction on each other. We may come up with a plan.
amazing. So good luck for that.
Oh,
So
Dr. Good.
you absolutely go for it.
Yeah.
It's on them if you yeah okay perfect. Great to hear. Great to hear. So yes, so thank you very much for your time and
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure.
yes, and if we don't see all the whole interview here. If you want to check out the rest of the questions, of the answers from Evil Jared, you of course have to pick up the newest issue of the Power Wrestling magazine. And till then, to the next time, thank you, Evil.
Thank you. And don't forget, you can see me every month at the German Wrestling Federation at the legendary Festsaal in Kreuzberg.
Bye.
Wiedersehen. Tschüss.